Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Horseshoe Show here on Surge Sports TV. I am your host, Jack Rizzo. Thank you, everyone, for joining me tonight on this beautiful late fall Wednesday night. Certainly a great week of football for everyone. Not so much for Eli as a Seahawks fan, but certainly for me as an Indianapolis Colts fan. And as you guys know, this is the show where strictly Colts content is covered. And today I get to discuss with you guys the Colts' victory over the Carolina Panthers. Finally, the Colts got to win their first one in the month of November. So happy, especially against Frank Reich, the former coach of the Carolina Panthers. First off, though, just want to wish hopefully everyone had a great week. Certainly also want to wish a happy birthday tomorrow to my podcast partner Eli. His birthday is tomorrow, so not doing a show tomorrow, so I wanted to wish him a happy birthday now. Happy birthday, Eli, and have a great time on your time off. Hope you enjoy it. All right, now back into the business stuff. Let's talk about the Colts' victory on Sunday over the Carolina Panthers. So, the Colts defeated the Carolina Panthers on Sunday in a 4 o'clock game, their first non-1 p.m. kickoff game of the season. The Colts won 27-13 in a game where they pretty much controlled. They led the entire way. Defense had their best game in my opinion since week 5. You could even argue week 3. Actually, you could argue they had their best game of the season if you want to go that far, but defense finally made some big plays on Sunday. Offense did some nice things, specifically in the first half. Let's get right into it. We'll start off with Shane Steichen. Thought he called a pretty decent game today. Now, the Colts, their offense definitely struggled in the second half. They did not score any offensive points in the second half. So that was certainly disappointing to see. In fact, they actually scored more defensive points than they scored more defensive points than offensive points. So interesting there. But the offense definitely struggled at most points today. I wouldn't say his play calling really was the issue, but the scheming was a little off. The Carolina defense to me is pretty underrated. They just didn't really run the ball as efficiently as I thought they would. Jonathan Taylor had a bit of a down game. I'll get to that in a little bit. Tight ends didn't really get involved that much. Receivers not really either. The offense was just very stale. They did have a lot of time-consuming drives in the first half, but the second half they pretty much did nothing, which is thankfully how good the defense was, because if the defense didn't do all that they did, we might have lost this game. So certainly a defensive game. Didn't really have any issues with Shane Steichen's game scheming, but I would like to see the offense execute it better, especially since Anthony Richardson, as we know, is not coming back for the rest of the season out with the ACL tear. So we're going to have to rely on Gardner Minshew, and we're going to need him to step up, especially considering the fact that, if we want to make a playoff run, we do have a pretty manageable schedule the rest of the way, the second easiest, only behind the Atlanta Falcons. So we have the opportunity to go far, but if our offense is going to be stagnant like it was on Sunday against a really bad Carolina team, then we might be in some trouble. Speaking of Gardner Minshew, made another start for the Colts. Now, Gardner had lost his last 3 starts, mainly because of issues with turnovers. Now, while Gardner was not great by any means today, he had 0 turnovers, which was a huge reason why the Colts were able to get this win on the road. A 27-13 win. Gardner went 17 of 26 throwing for just 127 yards and a touchdown. That one touchdown coming to Jonathan Taylor on a little screen pass inside the 10-yard line. Gardner certainly missed a lot of throws on Sunday. Threw a couple of short, overthrew a few, made a couple of mistakes, but fortunately none of them turned into turnovers. And fortunately, he was able to protect the football, be the game manager in a game where the Colts again pretty much control from start to end, but it certainly wasn't because of a dominating offense, kind of like how it was in week 2 against the Houston Texans. Just much more of a defensive battle from them. So I still love Gardner. Is he a starting quarterback in the NFL? No, he's not. That's why he's a backup, but he is one of the best in the league, and he can win you some football games. He's not going to single-handedly win you a football game, although he kind of almost did in Week 7 against the uh, Cleveland Browns, but you know what I mean. All right, so in terms of running backs, well, first off, let me just say that it's Jonathan Taylor's backfield now. Zach Moss was great at the beginning of the season, especially in weeks 3 and 5. He just went off. But now that Jonathan Taylor's healthy and he's getting carries, this is his backfield going forward. Like, Zach Moss really does not have that much of an impact now, really starting to slow down. And while Zach Moss is good, he does not have the ability to single-handedly take over a game like Jonathan Taylor does. Now, JT in the Week 9 struggled, especially in the second half. Finished today with just 47 rushing yards on 18 carries, so averaged only about 2.5 yards per carry. The Carolina run defense played really, really well, and JT really, really struggled in the second half. Wasn't really able to break any big runs, unfortunately. Now, out of the backfield, Jonathan Taylor's been a lot more productive out of the backfield, receiving the ball or catching the ball this year than in past years. He had 5 catches, 22 yards, and a touchdown on a screen pass. It was the only offensive touchdown the Colts would score all game. So Jonathan Taylor was the main part of this offense, but again, I mean, he was the main part of the offense with only 69 total yards, so not really much to see there. Zach Moss did have 7 carries, only rushed for 26 yards, though. Well, I mean, he did average almost 4 yards a carry, but yeah, this is JT's backfield to lose now. He's healthy. He is playing really well. He can run. He can catch. So this is JT's backfield going forward, but the Colts rushing offense certainly struggled. One of the games that they've struggled in the most this season, maybe their worst rushing game in the rushing department all year. In terms of receiving, yeah, we mentioned Gardner Minshew at only 127 yards, so you're not going to really see a lot of receiving. Now, funny enough, more than half of those yards came from Michael Pittman Jr., who had 8 catches for 64 yards, 8 targets, 8 catches for MPJ. Had another great game. This guy's showing that he's a true number 1 receiver in this league, and the Colts should pay him for sure. Just love the way Pittman plays, love his aggressiveness, love his he's got a good catch radius. He could run after catch, he could get in the end zone. You gotta love the way that Michael Pittman Jr. is playing. He is having a great season so far for the Colts. He has 58 catches for 593 yards and 3 touchdowns on the season. Already just 1 touchdown away from matching his touchdown total for last year. So Michael Pittman is certainly having a great season, as the Colts are now more than halfway into this campaign. So he is on pace for 1,000 yards, which would be his second 1,000-yard season and his 3rd straight year of crossing the 900-yard mark. So certainly great to see that from Michael Pittman. Other than that, not really any receiver got involved. Jonathan Taylor was the Colts' next leading receiver after Pittman. Drew Ogletree 1 catch for 19 yards. It was a pretty nice grab. Then got knocked out though. Got knocked out though with a foot injury. Isaiah McKenzie had 2 catches for 12 yards. Josh Downs just 1 catch for 10 yards, but he left a little early. We'll get to that in just a second when I get to the injury department. But really, outside of Michael Pittman, Jonathan Taylor, there was no impact on this offense. The O-line struggled more than they did in previous weeks, so not a great showing from them. But the reason why the Colts won this game was because of their defense, which really made Bryce Young look like a rookie quarterback on Sunday. Just a phenomenal game for them. The one they controlled start to finish. They got pressure on Bryce. Again, literally at all 3 levels of defense were fantastic. Now, I would have liked to see them tackle a little bit better, especially in the rushing game. But outside of that, a pretty much perfect performance of the Colts. They did not allow the Panthers to push the ball downfield, and they forced 3 turnovers on Bryce Young. Again, who they really made look like a rookie quarterback on Sunday. Bryce Young overall just had a really, really bad game. The Colts limited him to 173 yards passing on 24 completions, had 1 touchdown to DJ Chark, and had 3 interceptions, 2 of which to Kenny Moore, and both of them went to the house for a pick 6. How awesome was that? Kenny Moore, one of the most underrated players in the league, in my opinion. Somebody who just does not get enough love, and probably more hate than love in Indy because of the contract thing and because he's given up some big plays in the past. But he made his presence known on Sunday. Probably the biggest game he's had in his career. 2 pick 6s with his sisters in attendance. An awesome day for Kenny Moore, the AFC Defensive Player of the Week. Congratulations to my guy Kenny Moore. Always been one of my favorite players. He's a little guy, so you always root for him, but he makes some big plays, and he also has made some big tackles early in the season. He's got 3 interceptions now in the season, and he is one of the best, and he's probably the best slot corner in the NFL right now. I'm not even joking. Kenny Moore is just that good, and he really made his presence known on Sunday. By the way, here's a little fun fact for you. Bryce Young's leading touchdown catchers this year. You have Adam Thielen with 3, and then second is Kenny Moore with 2. So, Bryce Young has really helped Kenny Moore score touchdowns, but just not in the way that you think. I mean, Kenny Moore, 2 out of Kenny Moore's 3 career touchdowns have come from Bryce Young himself. So, Bryce Young is doing an awesome job feeding Kenny Moore the football. Back to reality though. Yeah, they just did not allow much. Rushing game, they did struggling. Now Chuba Hubbard had 16 carries for 58 yards, so almost 4 yards a carry. The Colts did struggle though to prevent Bryce Young from rushing. That was what Bryce Young did best on Sunday. 5 carries for 41 yards. They did get sacks though. DeForest Buckner had a great game. Eric Johnson, Adetomiwa Adewabore had a great game. Kwity Paye, Dio Dango getting pressures from the edge. Just a great showing from the Indianapolis Colts defense. The secondary is great. Darrell Baker and Jalen Jones finally had good games on the outside, really preventing the Carolina receivers from doing much. And as we mentioned, the 2 pick sixes by Kenny Moore with his sisters in attendance. And by the way, those 2 pick sixes by Kenny Moore totaled 113 yards, a 49-yarder and a 66-yarder on the 2 pick sixes. And they both came in pretty big moments. The first one came at the very end of the first half. The Panthers were pushing the ball, trying to get into field goal range. They were almost in field goal range. And instead, a touchdown made it a 17-point game. So it could have been a 7-point game going into halftime. It was a 17-point game instead, so a 10-point swing. Then, in the beginning of the fourth quarter, the Panthers starting to come back. They were in Colts territory and had all the momentum. I was starting to get a little worried, like, oh, God, the Colts might blow this. And then Bryce Young misses on a screen pass to Miles Sanders, and Kenny Moore takes it back 66 yards. That was another big moment for the Colts because, again, the Panthers were pushing the ball. You thought they were going to score a touchdown, make it a 3-point game, and instead it becomes, once again, a 17-point game. So a 14-point swing. Just absolutely crazy stuff. And again, if you want it, and if they got 3 points even then, that is still a what am I trying to think here? But yeah, it certainly was a big moment for the Colts in that game. Kenny Moore really saved us this week, and really happy with the way he played. Rest of the defense played well. Again, the front seven was fantastic. Segun Olobi had a good game in place of Zaire Franklin, had his first career interception, and pretty much everyone on the Colts defense played really, really well on Sunday, except for Rodney Thomas. He had a bit of a rough game. Special teams, not really much to say there. Matt Gay went 2 for 2 on field goals again, 3 for 3 on extra points. What else is new? He's only missed 2 kicks all season. One of them came on a block. And Matt Gay, his 57-yarder on Sunday, is the second longest field goal in Colts history. So Money Matt is doing quite well here. And what a signing he was. Definitely worth being the highest paid kicker in history. I mean, just alone for that Week 3 game against the Ravens, which looking back now is a very impressive win considering what the Ravens are doing right now. They look like maybe the best team in the NFL. Now, yeah, let's talk about how the Colts won this game with the injuries they had. Now, Braden Smith has missed a lot of games. He's missed the last 4 because of a hip and wrist injury. Just don't know why he hasn't been put on IR. But the O-line struggled the most, I would say, on Sunday out of any game that they've had without him. So that wasn't great to see. Blake Freeland is having a little bit rough in his rookie year. Rest of the line didn't do a great job in the run game, so it was an off game for them. No Zaire Franklin on Sunday, the leading Colts tackler and the leading tackler in the NFL, the only NFL player right now with over 100 tackles, did not play due to a knee injury. That was a huge loss for the Colts. However, they were able to get by thanks to Segun Olobi's great game, and the Colts were able to get the win. Josh Downs left the game early because of I believe he re-aggravated his knee, so that was certainly not great to see either. But fortunately, the Colts didn't really need to do much in the passing game to be able to win by 14. Drew Ogletree also left the game with a foot injury, so I hope he's all right there. Just a lot of injuries from the Colts. Juju Brents did not play once again. The third straight week he missed. Third straight week he's missed due to a quad injury. At least I think, or maybe the second game he's missed. I'm not sure. It's either the second or third game that he's missed, but hopefully Juju can get healthy soon. By the way, though, I do want to give an update, though. Braden Smith is back at practice. He should be practicing full this week. Hopefully he makes his return. Zaire Franklin, Josh Downs, Drew Ogletree, and Juju Brents are all TBD on that front. So, certainly a great win for the Colts, and they are getting ready to head to Frankfurt, Germany. Prost, however you want to say it, to take on the New England Patriots, who, by the way, Bill Belichick might be in danger of losing his job. There is a rumor going around that if they lose to the Colts on Sunday, then Bill Belichick will be out as the Patriots head coach. I think he's going to be out at the end of the season regardless, but how awesome would that be for the Colts to get the revenge with all that Bill Belichick has done to our franchise over the last 20 years to be able to be the team that gets him fired? How awesome would that be for the Colts fan base, which would include myself? So it should be a really interesting game. Now, if Anthony Richardson was playing, you think I'd actually might give the edge to the Patriots because of how well Bill Belichick is able to scheme against the rookie quarterbacks. He has a historically good record against the rookie quarterbacks. But instead it's Gardner Minshew and the Patriots. They are just flying really low right now. They are just playing awful. Mac Jones does not appear to be the long-term answer. The defense is still fine. The offense is just a disaster, though. And the defense has given up some bad games this year. I mean, they did lose 34-0 to the Saints a few weeks ago, and then 38-3 to Dallas the week before. The two worst losses in the Bill Belichick era. So it's certainly a bad season for the Patriots. Somehow beat the Bills in Week 7. I don't even know how that's possible. So it should be an interesting game. However, yeah. Sorry, Patriot fans. Not really. You guys have won 6 Super Bowls in the last 20 years, so not really too sorry to you guys. But I am taking my Indianapolis Colts to win this game, a 24-19 final. I think we're going to run the ball better. I think the defense is going to humiliate Mac Jones on Sunday, and the Colts are going to get a win in front of their fans traveling to Germany. Want to give a shout out to my guy Colts fan Cole, who's going to be in Frankfurt for that game. Part of his honeymoon. He got married last month, so congratulations to my guy Colts fan Cole. Make sure you go follow him on Twitter at ColtsFanCole. Just want to give him a quick shout out. He's really helped me grow my platform here on my podcast and everything else. So really want to give him a good shout out. And he is going to the game, so hopefully he has a great time there. All right, well, that's pretty much going to do it for this episode of the Horseshoe Show. So certainly the Colts are not out of the playoffs just yet. They could probably only afford 2 more losses if they want to get in. Their schedule is manageable. Their toughest game left is against Cincinnati, and after that's Pittsburgh. But every other game is a winnable game for the Colts. Actually, I don't think any other game they have the rest of the season is against the team that's 500. The Texans are 500. But other than that, I believe every single game for the Colts the rest of the way is against a team that is below 500. So the Colts can certainly make a run, but we'll have to see. But once again, that is going to wrap it up here on the 12th Horseshoe podcast, or the Horseshoe Show, I'm sorry. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Again, I want to wish a happy early birthday to my guy, Eli. Hopefully he has a great time on his time off. Again, make sure you go follow Colts Fan Cole on Twitter. And thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Jack Rizzo signing off here. And once again, it's Veterans Day on Friday. So thank you to all of those who have served our country, and God bless all of you. Make sure you go out and salute your veterans and thank them for their service, whether it's a family member or friend or anything. But thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Jack Rizzo signing off here. And go Colts and go Rangers. The Rangers, first place in the Metropolitan Division. The Colts will be first place in the AFC South at the end of the year. Good night, friends.